Hey, welcome everyone, this is Snoo, and you're looking at my third and final build update video for the upcoming 3.23 Affliction League. This time we're going to be looking at my last league's intended league starter, which was Poisonous Concoction. Now, I ended up swapping to Explosive Concoction, last minute decision, kind of in the middle of the campaign, and honestly, it could have went either way. I could have went with Explosive Concoction or Poisonous Concoction. It wouldn't have made really much difference in terms of my own league start performance, but I do want you to know that Poisonous Concoction has played a pivotal role in my league start leveling process, especially for the last 4 leagues straight. Been a great skill, absolutely huge believer of it, and I really like it even in red maps. And yes, even after the supposed heavy-handed nerfs that took place a few leagues ago, that was kind of a nerf and buff at the same time. And I think I proved to the community time and time again that it is a fantastic skill to use, and I like using it as a leveling skill every single time I play League Start. So you can try it out if you want, and I will let you know that it is quite good at blasting maps, very good for out can go content, and also pretty good for things like Abyss or Blight, anywhere where you kind of stand your ground and kind of cast onto where monsters are spawning. Now, there will be a map showcase. We'll just show you a Blight map at the end here, but first we got to talk about any changes that took place as gems. So you notice I'm in game mode already because there's not really any major new info to discuss. There's no crazy changes to the build that's going to really functionally change anything. In fact, I don't see any need to change anything in the PoE at all, but there are a few changes to some of the gems, so we'll talk about that. First of all, I waited to make this video one day to see the new and last set of transfigured gems, anticipating that we might get a Poisonous Concoction gem, and after seeing what Explosive Concoction got, I was very excited to see what Poisonous Concoction might get. And there was no gem. There was no gem that came out, so there's nothing to say on that topic. Absolutely nothing I can report there. Poisonous Concoction skill gem did get a change to its quality. Perhaps the most interesting change of all the changes to the skill gems relative to my builds. We have a loss of increased AoE on the gem, and then an increase to wither chance, which is really intriguing because we're already running Pathfinder, which has 25% chance to wither on hit and increased wither effect. So you might think this is kind of a dud of a change, not that great, but I would argue that it's actually a really good change because Poison Concoction isn't machine gunning monsters so well. You can't really get maximum wither stacks very easily, very quickly with Poison Concoction, even with a bunch of overlap. So going from 25% to 45% chance to wither on hit is actually kind of a big deal, I think. And the loss of 10% AoE could be a terrible detriment for this build when you have increased projectiles trying to overlap. However, I'm already using Carcass Jack and Dying Sun in the build with an excess of 70% increased area of effect, so we did lose 1 AoE breakpoint. I don't think it's going to mean all the difference in the world. By all means, you can swap the gems up, drop greater multi for another damage support if you really want to, but aside from bossing, which I make the builds for mapping, so aside from bossing, I don't think it's really going to have a detrimental effect at all. So that is the big news on Poisonous Concoction gem. We also have Withering Step, which has gone from elusive effect to an extra 2 wither stacked, which is good. Actually, I also think it's pretty good. Immortal Call had its buff duration changed to cooldown reduction. Again, no major impact there. Plague Bearer from 10% AoE to 10% more damage. Plague Bearer does have a bigger role in this build than for Poison Tornado Shot, where I referenced it earlier. And then we also have Ancestral Protector, which had its quality change from increased damage to increased range. And this actually does have some impact because I'm a big believer in Ancestral Protector. It gives a whole bunch of increased attack speed for this build. And it's also connected to culling support, which is something I think is very strong in the face of a map boss or a delirium boss or what have you. And I absolutely see it as a terrific value, especially for a dot build like this. Quite often my Ancestral Protector will get a killing blow, and sometimes it's not quite in range of the target, so that can be a little annoying, but it looks like it's getting a pretty big buff to its range, so that's going to be great for the culling aspect of that skill gem. I do want to tell you, and I probably should have mentioned in the last video with Explosive Concoction, these builds, these concoction builds, have no weapons, so there's no tincture tech to be had. As far as I understand, it can't connect to a shield. So going the Warden of the Magi is pretty much out of the question, probably, and you're probably just going to go straight for the Primalist instead. Now, I don't know exactly what charms it takes. People are asking me, what Affliction Ascendancy should we be doing? Honestly, I don't feel comfortable and confident enough to tell you what to take because I don't know what all the options are. I don't see anything on there that's an absolute no-brainer, and even if there was, is it easy access to get? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see on that stuff. But anyway, that's it for the updates. Let's do a map here. I got a Blight, and I did go ahead and spec into Blight just for this little showcase, change some of the things around. And we're going to do it on one of my favorite maps. And I'm thinking about making a video on blight farming and core. We have the best of the best here with the core map coming back into the map pool. I even think blight is chosen on the map device for next league. But I'm just going to do one blight encounter. I'm going to show you how good this build is for blight especially. And just kind of clearing through the map a little bit. Okay, so here we go. I'm just kind of going through the map looking for the blight. I don't think that's going to impact much. Now, shield charge is real nice. The build is kind of tanky enough. It's got some evasion. It's got a little bit of tankiness to it. And it just absolutely shreds monsters. Doesn't really matter. Even these porcupines aren't really doing damage to me. And that's because I'm wearing a Cena's Gentle Touch. So everything is being exploded and corpses are being destroyed regardless. Absolutely love Cena's Gentle Touch. And you know, I should mention, I kind of forgot to say this. Last league, Temporal Chains was nerfed. Effectively, it's not really going to impact you on maps much at all, but technically it was nerfed, and so I should probably mention that as well. Okay, it's usually smart to put a portal down, and, well, I got lucky here this time, but anyway. I do not have my rings enchanted, but I like to do that one, and this. Oh, I got... Okay, that's interesting. Didn't expect the Syndicate to spawn in my face there. That's fine. This build's actually pretty good at that. And, you know, even if I had to cast up here, I could be doing this and this and this and this, and it would be fine. Like, even if it was a couple different lanes, it'd be okay. But one of the reasons why it's so good at blight, because I could use the towers to slow down the monsters, because one of the build's weaknesses is I can't really slow down the monsters because I don't have any chill or freeze, but I can use the towers to do so. And then I can just kind of rely on my raw damage to kill everything. And I really like the way this build performs on Blight. Toxic Rain is also very good for Blight, for the record. But, you know, this is a very nice tower setup. And I guess technically you go for this as well. And then basically the monsters just don't really have much chance to move at all. And unless they're shooting crazy projectiles at me, I'm totally safe right here. Totally safe. It's a little bit extra long because it's all condensed into one lane, but this is a cool little reminder of what blight farming is kind of like, potentially at league start, and it's very good, very easy to do. Okay, so you don't even kill the boss normally in that kind of map, but that's it. That is it for the map showcase. Just wanted you to know, get the update, get the scoop on Poisonous Concoction. I think it's going to be a fantastic build. I kind of wish I could do 5 different league starters at once. Poisonous Concoction would be one of them. I totally love the way the build and the skill gem plays. Absolutely like the character, the way it's set up here, and it's fairly achievable early in the league start, getting the bleed and the corrupted blood immunity very easily. It's like the only build that I use a life flask in. But that's it. That's going to be it for this video, and there'll still be at least one more video out before the league starts, so look forward to that. I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.